How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and today we got to talk about yet another cringy basement stream from Joe Biden, the presumptive 2020 Democratic presidential nominee. This time he was speaking to NABJ/NAHJ in a so-called virtual convention. And if you don't know, NABJ, that's a National Association of Black Journalists, NAHJ, Hispanic Journalists. He's speaking to a reporter by the name of Errol Barnett. And Errol's black, of course, and he made a very off-color, quote-unquote, joke to the reporter in response to his question. Now, before I get into that and talk about what was going on there, let's roll the clip. In this clip, you'll see the so-called joke that he made to the reporter. You'll see the response to the reporter's question, and then you'll see how that response was not even really accurate. After we get done watching that, I'll talk about the response, the so-called joke. Then I give you my 2 cents, my deep detail analysis, and then I'll wrap it on up with a nice bow on top. So without further ado, let's go ahead and roll it.
Mr. Vice President, your opponent in this election, President Trump, has made your mental state a campaign topic. And when asked in June if you'd been tested for cognitive decline, you've responded that you're constantly tested in effect because you're in situations like this on the campaign trail. But please clarify specifically, have you taken a cognitive test?
No, I haven't taken a test. Why the hell would I take a test?
Have you been tested for some degree of cognitive decline?
I've been tested and I'm constantly tested.
Come on, man. That's like saying before you got in this program, if you take a test where you're taking cocaine or not, what do you think, huh? Are you a junkie?
What do you say to President Trump, who brags about his test and makes your mental state an issue for voters?
Well, if he can't figure out the difference between an elephant and a lion, I don't know what the hell he's talking about. Did you watch that? Look, come on, man. I know you're trying to goad me, but I mean, I'm so forward looking to have an opportunity to sit with the president or stand with the president in debates. There's going to be plenty of time. And by the way, as I joke with him, I shouldn't say it. I'm going to say something I probably shouldn't say. Anyway, I am very willing to let the American public judge my physical and mental my physical as well as my mental fitness, and to make a judgment about who I am.
All right, so you saw that, you heard that. Now, I'm not really sure where to begin because there was a whole lot right there in that clip. I guess the first thing for me would be the lie that he told. Either he was lying right there with Errol Barnett or he lied before. I showed the clip of the guy asking him at some kind of rally a while back, hey, you taking that test to, display cognitive function? Like, yes, I have taken the test. I get tested regularly. Okay, so if you said that back then, that was this year too, so it was not long ago. This is not some old clip from back in the day. No, that was this year, okay, during this whole thing. So you said that this year, but now in August, you want to say something else? Which one is it? Also, the former White House physician came out and said that Biden took a test for his cognitive function back in 2018. So who's lying? Somebody's lying. Either the White House doc from back in the Obama years, either he's lying, either Joe Biden is lying right now, or he was lying back in the second video I showed you. Somebody's lying some kind of way, but either way it goes, if he's taken a cognitive test, surely he's failed it, because what I just saw in that clip was a man that is not there. Okay, the lights are on, but ain't nobody home. The elevator's not going all the way to the top floor. He's a few fries short of a Happy Meal, a few trees short of a forest. You get my drift? He should not be out there on the campaign trail. Before I go on, he shouldn't be out there on the campaign trail, period. This man is not well. Okay, people say, oh, it's gas and he stutters. No. I've seen Joe Biden in the past, and he looked much better. It's the same guy that had the same issues with speaking and whatnot, but he looked much better back in the past. He could tell stories back in the past and everything was coherent. He is 77 years old. He'll be 78 by the end of this year. He does not look well, period, but I digress. Joe Biden making a so-called joke to the reporter, the black reporter, by the way, by the name of Errol Barnett. Why would you go straight to, are you on cocaine? Are you a junkie? What? I mean, this is 2020. Is it like 1989, 1991 when you were writing laws to get black folks locked up for drugs and stuff like that? I mean, are we going back to that particular point in time where crack was everywhere in the black community? Are we going back to that? And if we are going back to that, why would that be the appropriate thing to even say? Like, if you thought about that right away, why did your mind go right there? What's really going on? Is this dementia? What does dementia do? Now, I know if he has dementia, he's not going to be functioning properly. You know, I'm not a doctor. I cannot diagnose him, but people that I've known that have dealt with dementia patients tell me that they see some of the same signs in Biden that they see in their patients or their loved ones, okay? The eyes is nothing really there. You get triggered really easily, angered really easily. All the signs are there from what people tell me. Like I said, I can't say that. I'm not a doctor, but something's going on. Something's obvious. It's part of dementia going back 30, 40 years in your memory and bringing up a thing you would think about somebody from back then. You know, so when you think about crack and whatnot or being a junkie, you think about a black person. Is that what's going on? Why would you say that to this man? Something's wrong with this guy. If Trump were to say something like that to Errol Barnett, the black reporter, oh man, racist, Klan member, neo-Nazi, white supremacist, every obig-obinist will be throwing it down on Trump right away, straight away, with no problem. This is a pattern for Joe Biden. Remember the whole thing? If you don't vote for Joe Biden, you ain't black.
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
It was a similar situation. He's, doing the basement cringe stream. This time it was with NABJ, but before, when the whole "you ain't black" kerfuffle broke, he was speaking to Charlamagne the God over at the Breakfast Club, syndicated radio show. So, I mean, what are you really doing? If I'm supposed to vote for Joe Biden because I'm black, he's not convincing me to do so. I mean, you had the first comment to Charlamagne, vote for me or you ain't black. Then speaking to another guy, are you a junkie, all this and that, and the third. Okay, he got really upset. I think he got triggered at the question about his cognitive function. He should, if he's being honest with himself, if he has the mental ability to be honest and to kind of just step outside his brain a little bit or just look at himself in the mirror, he has to understand that he's not there. Okay, if he can understand the fact that he's not there and he's being honest, he would know that he's not really functioning properly. I don't know how it works with dementia or whatever he's going through, but as I get older, I realize that my knees ain't the same, my back ain't the same. You realize that you are not the same as you were. And Joe Biden must realize that if he's able to realize that. I don't think he is. I think that he thinks he's the same guy from back in the 90s or with Obama. He's not the same guy. If you look even back in 2012 interviews, he's a different person. He was able to tell stories and kind of have you enthralled in it. But now he can barely string two words together. He cannot even say the words mental fitness at the end of his statement. So that tells you something ain't right there. Okay. Like I said before, they want to say he's a stutterer or whatever. He was the same guy with the same kind of speech ailments back 8, 9, 10, 12, 15 years ago. He sounded much better. He sounded much more clear, and he had his thoughts together. See, having a speech impediment will not just block your thoughts, make you fog, make you get upset. That's not what happens. This guy is not right. So he says he wants to go out there and debate Trump, but the Democratic Party don't want him to. Okay, there's a little bit of a conflict right there. He's saying one thing, they're saying something else, because they know that if he goes out there and has a debate, he'll do that on stage. Just from that one little clip, it's like a minute long. From that little clip, I got all kind of sound bites. Okay, you a junkie, you on cocaine, elephant and giraffe. I got a plethora of sound bites from 1 minute. Imagine if he was to go out there and debate on stage, standing up with Donald Trump, toe to toe. Oh man, it'd be a bloodbath. And like I said before, it'd kind of be unfair. It'd be like watching Mike Tyson beat up, a little kid or something. It's like, man, I'm not trying to see that. Okay. You put some kind of novice, like you put me in the room with Mike Tyson. Okay. I'm not a boxer or nothing like that. I'm going to get my head knocked off my shoulders, man. It's not going to be fun to see that happen at all. So I don't want to see it happen. But if Joe Biden wants to be the president, then you got to go ahead and do it. You're talking about 80 years. There have been debates, 80 years straight all presidents, you do the debates. That's very important because most normies don't know who you are, really. All they know is that you are a Democrat and you're with Barack Obama. That's all that they know because they don't really have time to be in politics. They don't know what's going on. But when the debate comes, that gives them time to be able to set aside a couple of hours and just to see who you are, to see where you line up against the next guy, to judge you, to see if you physically fit and able to do it. They want to see all that good stuff. It would be crazy if they have a debate and Joe Biden has no VP pick yet. That'll affect him as well. If he picks Kamala Harris, it's going to be a problem. And I want to see the VPs debate too. Can you imagine like Kamala Harris debating Mike Pence? Man, oh man, they can do it. You know, if you can have all these Zooms and cringy basement streams, surely you're able to have a debate some way, somehow. I don't care if it's in person, on the phone, Zoom, Skype, Google Hangouts. I don't care. You got to have it. And regardless of what goes on, I think Joe Biden will expose himself to the nation. It's not cool that he's in this state mentally. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. If he cannot go on, which he probably can't, he should go ahead and drop out, put somebody else in there. You know, that might be the ultimate plan at the end of the day, but different story, I digress. My whole point is that Joe Biden does not look well at all. He keeps putting his foot in his mouth. Every time you go out there and speak, he looks worse and worse. But I think I'll leave that right there for now. And what say you? Do you think that Joe Biden is of sound mind? If that's your viewpoint, let me know why in the comments below. Or is he not of sound mind? If that's your viewpoint, let me know why in the comments below. You pretty much know where I'm at with it. He demonstrates over and over again that he's not all the way there. Okay? Crazy talking about, you know, are you on cocaine? Are you a junkie? Vote for me, you ain't black. I mean, what are you even talking about? Like, not only is he saying things that are offensive, he's also not making sense when he speaks. That right there does not represent the kind of person that I would want to have in the White House with his finger on the button. Okay? He might think he's about 5 years old again playing with a toy and launch some nukes. I don't want that in the White House. He should take care of himself. The DNC, his family, his handlers should be ashamed of themselves. They should be totally ashamed having this old man out there who does not know who he is or where he is half the time. That's really pathetic. That's really ridiculous. But whatever your thoughts are, please let me know in the comments below. And that's all I got to say for this video. If you like what you heard, please comment, rate, share, and subscribe. Peace.